Even when I used to work out all the time, when I used to work out, when I used to work out.
Ever have protein powder? Yeah, I used to have it. When I used to work out, I used to take protein powders.
I myself, I jerk off at least twice a day.
Wow.
Once in the morning, right after I work out, and then once right after lunch.
Did a $2 super chat, will you bring back the suggestion box? If we ever have a podcast day where there's literally nothing to talk about at all, and we have extra time, we could do it. But that really hasn't happened in ages, right? We have situations where usually there's something to talk about, whether it's a story going on, a news story, or something happened on a stream that we want to discuss, or there's a particular topic or something. I literally have the suggestion box open right here.
So let's go through his logic real quick. He says that he'll do it when there's nothing to talk about. Dude, half the shit you bring up yourself is shit that shouldn't be in a, quote, podcast. It should be in an investors meeting. And the Q&A you do is to the same group of people who have been following you for 15 years. How are there any questions left? But then, after all the explaining away of how there has to be nothing going on, you tell the audience, oh, I have it open already. Because that makes sense. To object to something, and then to do the thing you're objecting to.
Here was the latest one. What did I click on? Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. Here, for a variety streamer, you don't seem like you don't like a variety of games. Maybe there are exceptions. It seems like you only touch indie games when they break into the mainstream, like Hades. That means a huge swath of quality, affordable games of varying genres that never get exposure on your channel. Sea of Stars would have made for a nice late-night playthrough instead of Chrono Trigger, for example. As for new releases, be more selective. Your schedule becomes a mess when there are multiple AAA releases, and frankly, many of them are boring to watch, like the Ubisofts, the Horizon Zero Wests, the kind of stuff watching paint dry no matter who's holding the controller. Literally, we've already adjusted this. Whenever I play an indie game on my channel, no one watches it. Unless it's an indie game that's broken into the mainstream and got mainstream attention, and then people care more about it. When I go out of my way to try to play an indie game, no one cares. It's because that's the audience I have. You have to understand that. I have to cater to what my audience wants. I don't have an audience that's foaming at the mouth for indie games, nor do I have a giant mainstream audience that eats up anything that I play. I have to be more selective with what I do with my time, right? Your other point, play less AAA games. I have. Just in the last month, not playing Persona 3, not playing Grand Blue, not playing Suicide Squad, not playing Foam Stars. I mean, that's just 4 off the top of my head in the last 2 weeks I didn't play. I'm trying to focus on what I am playing, and already there's too much going on.
I hate it when Phil does this, when he explains why he can't do something that he has been doing. He says he can't play indie games because his audience doesn't like it, yet is actively playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth and Tekken 8 despite the low turnout. His solution? To beg for engagement and tips. Not to play the games his audience wants, which is what he just said he is being forced to do. So again, which is it, Phil? You have to play the games your audience wants, or you can try new shit whenever you feel like it. And this notion of, I have to focus on the games I'm currently playing, how exactly can one focus on Tekken 8? It's a title which needs online play and therefore never ends. So does that mean that a fighting game will forever take a slot in your schedule? And when your audience tells you to focus on something, e.g. Baldur's Gate 3, you buck them, saying, I don't want to do that all the time, like a whiny child.
So here's the thing. People get these notions, but they're based on their own personal desires and preferences. This person probably had an indie game they really wanted to see me play and I never played it. Like they're saying Sea of Stars. I did play Sea of Stars. And guess what? Not a lot of people showed up for it nor supported it when I played it, because it's an indie game. This is what I said. Like, people ask for indie games all the time. Then when I actually play them, nobody cares. That's just what happens. It's been a pattern, a running pattern. Another game franchises like that, Metroidvanias. Most of the time, people say, oh, why don't you play this one and that one? Then I play one, no one cares. The exception to that was Metroid Dread, but outside of that, every time I play a Metroidvania, no one shows up. So I got to do with what works. You know, I'm streaming for myself because I like games and it's my hobby, but it's also my job. I have to stream what people will show up for. And I can't just pick and choose. If it were the case, I could just play whatever I wanted. I'd play more RPGs. I would play more indie games, right? I'd probably play less mainstream games. You're absolutely right. But then also, I'd have no audience. You know, I got to find that balance. Right, Jasper Kitty?
In terms of Sea of Stars, that game released in August of 23, and you just started playing it 1 month ago, so there's the delay that's likely impacting you. You say you want to play hot new releases, which, personal note, I fucking hate how that phrase is said by Phil. First he ruined nice meal, now hot new releases. But anyway, you say you want to play them, but I notice they're only the releases you're interested in. Now to Metroidvanias. If I'm not mistaken, you played Dread less than 2 months after it came out. Delayed, but not 5 months delayed. But secondly, Dread was billed as being hard as fuck, and all your detractors and even your denthead fans know, when you get anally ravaged, you make better content. I mean, the content is toxic as fuck, but it's still more entertaining, so that could explain the Metroidvania success. And I know I've already mentioned how he picks what narrative to run with, be that the, I don't want to just play the games you want to play, I'm a variety streamer narrative, or the, I have to play what the fans will support narrative. But what DSP does with both of those narratives is use them as an excuse not to grow. So let's say the critique is, hey Phil, you need to save money, you need to get the most profit, get out of the trouble you're in. He'll throw out, guys, my life is stressful and games are a hobby. Sometimes I need to chill and it's not about the money. At which point his dents and detractors rightfully say, well, cool, you should play this because you're not playing for money, so play it because it's fun. To which DSP uses the I have to play what brings people out excuse. And anyone who uses excuses like these depending on the question is perpetuating a victim mentality and will never change until they realize they don't like where they are. And yes, I'm speaking from personal experience.
Right, Jasper? Jasper Kitty, tell them what that you agree with me or disagree. Tell the audience what you think. Jasper, why won't you talk? Jasper, he won't talk. He talks to me all day long outside of this office. And then he gets right here and he won't say a word. Why not? Why won't you talk? Okay.
40 goddamn seconds, Phil. Well, more than that, because as I flashed on the screen, that was a real-time stopwatch running against 120% Phil, so... But irrespective, I'm a cat owner. I've got 2 of the little overlords that I absolutely love. Don't worry, I have 2 dogs too, and I love them. And sure, it might be interesting to see your cat for a bit, but that baby voice is absolutely grating, and the fact that you don't clean his litter, and the vet saga I'm sidelining. Phil... 40 seconds of nothing content or dead air is disrespectful to your audience in my opinion. Knock that shit off.
Anyway, so there you go. We did suggestion box. Here's another one. I wish you'd relax more when playing Street Fighter. It's one thing to be frustrated. You literally call people assholes and pieces of shit. And yes, I publicly acknowledged that and said I agree with you that I needed to calm more down. And basically, by the end, that was kind of something that I committed to. But then I stopped playing Street Fighter. Now with Tekken, I can't even really say because I just lose constantly in Tekken to lack of character knowledge. So that's not people abusing it or sucking. That's me not knowing shit and just falling for stuff. You know what I mean? Here we go. Leave the internet and reevaluate your life. That's a great suggestion. Thanks a lot. Let me leave the internet and reevaluate my life and go out of business and lose my house and everything that I own and the livelihood of my family. That's, you know, that's a really nice pipe dream for people to think that people could just quit their jobs and everything's fine. Yes, because as you know, I have several years worth of income saved up that I could just quit my job and reevaluate my life. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Okay, the I'm not going to insult my opponent saga lasting as long as fruit stripe gum notwithstanding, that last question was gold. Because when I first heard it, I was like, oh, he's going to say another stupid troll and move on. But no, Phil actually addresses it in a way. First, let me say I agree with the suggestion. You need to be blacklisted from the internet with all the incredibly toxic, racist, anti-Semitic, sexist, and every other ist of content you've put out. And yes, if you have made an average of 100K plus for 15 years and have no savings or emergency contention of any kind, you absolutely deserve to be on the street when the inevitable downfall comes. I think most recently I heard you blew $800 or more on champions. That information shouldn't even exist for anyone because no one should ever spend that kind of money on a fucking mobile game. And the fact you have no savings, Phil, is exactly why you need to reevaluate your life. And until you're willing to show where your money is going, I will forever maintain that opinion.
People love chatting. We all have something to say. You're an interactive content curator. This is the new Phil. A new release brings people a 24-hour cooldown. The talk is too much. It needs to go down to 1 hour, 20 minutes. Huh? It's enough people can see what the streaming community is about and can start to interact with all of us. I have no idea what this means. You need a professional stream overlay. Start 2024 fresh. One with chat incorporated for us to watch in full screen so we can read chat. No, we're never doing that because that would just be people trolling to ruin the videos perpetually. That's also why I don't have pop-up messages that have text on them. Because if I did, people would just say nasty things to be in the video forever. It's a competition to ruin my content. I know there's a reason why I don't do it. What's funny is people are like, Phil doesn't do it because he's lazy. No, Phil doesn't do it because he's smart. Because he's not stupid. Because he wants to make a living doing this and he doesn't want all his content ruined by trolls. So if dumb shit on my screen, like other content creators do, I'm not stupid. Alright? So no, we're not having chat on the screen. Like there's not enough distractions with the pop-ups. Now you want a running chat on the screen? Like that's totally not going to distract people watching the game, right? Like what are you talking about? Okay, so there you go. We did some suggestion box. Wasn't that great? Wow, it was really worth it. Anyway, let's get back to the stream now. That was really worth the time.
The 24 hours to chat, I suppose I understand, because, yeah, I haven't subbed to Phil because I don't want to give him the satisfaction of seeing the indicator tick up by 1, so I can't troll him live. He beat me there. But the no chat on screen is just Phil, again, refusing to adapt. There are people who have trolls that put chat on screen, and somehow they're doing just fine. This harkens back to, you need a capture card, and him saying, no, camera capture is better. Like, you say you want audience engagement, but they can't even see their super chats or conversations with you on your feed, like in the screen. And Phil closes by proving to everyone what we already know. You can't suggest things to Phil. Phil, you see, is a 4D chess master and has already thought of everything ahead. So when a suggestion does come in, he's not going to use it and he's going to get pissed. Which is why I hope the suggestion box stays. I particularly like the ones that are genuinely trying to help him, which he then goes full mask off, followed by him insulting the person who suggested it. It's beautiful. Anyway, that's it for this one. I had originally planned to get this out last night, but alas, real life happened, and it was too late, and I was too tired to finish it out. That being said, big ups to that being said, I was going to schedule this one out for members, but I don't have any yet, which is fine. This is not a begment. So freebie when it's done video for the masses. Big ups to DoodyStreams for the clip. I truly appreciate it. And big ups to my subs, viewers, anyone who likes, comments, shares, or otherwise tells the algorithm just how sexy I am. To all of you, I say thank you. We're about to hit 900 subs, and that's just a hop, skip, and a jump from 1,000, which I know I say it's crazy, but it is, dude. It's crazy. I love all of you. Till next time, swallow's the goal for a troll. Lift heavy, eat clean. Phil, you should shower more and not wear Zelda jammies. I've explained this. My hair doesn't get this greasy sheen unless I skip showers, and the Zelda jammies keep my spine intact from my spinal injury. Back in the day, I used to work for a helicopter company